Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting of the 16th of August, 2023. I'm joined here by my colleagues at the TSC. We have almost a full house. Very happy to see everybody here. And we have some level of a packed agenda, as usual, to discuss. Are there any, let's start with it. So are there any announcements?
Secret releases are out, and they are fixing mostly vulnerabilities on experimental features.
Amazing. Okay. And there is the new 20.6 coming out soon, right? If I
Hopefully.
Amazing. Oh,
I'm working on that.
I have a few, because of all the security release, some features have been delayed. So I am there is quite a lot of new stuff packed into that release. So I am very excited. Amazing. Okay. So this is fantastic. Are there any other announcements? I just want to remind, very shameless plug here, that tickets for Node.js Conf IT and NodeConf EU are on sale. So if you're watching this, I'm just shameless plugging that. Also, tickets for the Open Source Summit in Bilbao are on sale too. So completely shameless plug. If you want to join fellow collaborators at this, you can, all these conferences will have Node.js collaborators at them. So you might want to join. There is also the Node.js Collaborator Summit at Bilbao, at Open Source Summit Bilbao on I don't remember the exact date, I think, but somebody can get me.
It's around the September 19th, 18th, that kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date, but that's the week. You can look it up on the website.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Amazing. So that's the gist. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it's yeah. Amazing. Okay. And yeah. This is fantastic update. I have an update on the CPC, which I think it's something that it's important for all of you, which is that we are currently planning some changes on the how the travel fund works. Okay, so, and this is the link that summarizes the, it's issue 1147 on the Cross-Project Council repo. I am pasting it inside the in the minutes. It's important because we are planning to do some changes here on how things are managed, mostly to guarantee privacy for the recipients, and also prioritizing access, essentially. There is part of the problem is because the travel fund this year has been, we are almost at capacity in terms of how much money is being spent. So it's important. I'm just mentioning it. It's something is going to happen if you have used the travel fund, and if you have an opinion on those matter, please talk about them. Okay, please join that conversation. Cool. There is the board meeting in a few days, so I don't have any updates there, but there is board meeting on Friday. So if there is anything, I'm going to report it at that point in time. Everything is sailing smooth, to be honest. The question from, there are still no plans for conference for next year. So I remind that if we want to do, if we have any asks for the OpenJS Foundation in terms of the marketing support events and stuff, we should be making our voice heard. Okay.
I think there's a thread where there's some discussion on that, right?
Yes,
like I
I just
remember commenting and
got the I don't think we got to the bottom to it. And
no.
of
Do you
it.
have the link? You have that? Because that maybe it would be good to post for the
Yeah,
rest of
I
the CSC
am going
members.
to let me get it. Where is that? Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I think we should know exactly what we want, or anyway, let ourselves, given it's the Node.js Collaborator Summit again, we should probably be, you know, if we want it to be tagged along whatever conference in Europe, then we should be discussing that.
Yeah, I've made a few suggestions in there in terms of.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, it's just that we need to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need, what I was trying to say is we need more of the TSC members hopefully chiming in, and like one of my suggestions of asking for a full track at the open source summit. I'm not sure if that actually addresses the issue or not, right? So we need more people to say, yeah, that actually would improve things, or really that doesn't change things because it's still not an independent conference, right? Like I don't know.
I don't know either.
Right, but
okay. At least it will be something. Okay, to be honest,
it would be something to try, right? If you know,
I would tend to agree.
So I guess really the ask is people can chime in there and because I think Matteo, you were saying now's the time from the board planning perspective, if we want to say like, hey, we want our own track because that'll cost more money, we should be asking.
I don't think I'm not even sure it would. So I'm
I'm pretty sure it cost us dollars per track, right? So like if we wanted to do an OpenJS and one, it might be like 50K or something is my guess.
Yeah, but still, compared to the cost of a full conference, it's
still much smaller. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
So, okay. Perfect. I think that's all. I don't have anything else to cover. So please, people chime in. Otherwise, don't let us, Michael and myself, make some decision here. Essentially, just please.
Not about the summit, just about the travel fund. I just want to point out that when we had collaborators, like Node collaborator summits in person, like at least for me, back when like I needed a travel fund, it was very effective to be able to access that. When I look at the travel, like the recent travel fund activity, a lot of it isn't like collaborators attending summits to do the physical in-person stuff. And like I don't know where to raise it, if this is a good forum or I should post in the CPC.
You should raise at the CPC level. Yes.
Okay,
It's not us.
I'll comment in the CPC issue then.
Please. I think that is the original intent. Okay.
Okay. Will do.
So I think that is the original intent. Plus something else, like, I don't know, somebody going to, on behalf of OpenJS, to go to the TC39, for example, that is also in scope for the travel fund. Okay. If it's somebody, if it's attending a conference, less so. But if it's going to be going to the Open Collaborator Summit, it's another thing. So yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Now it's time to switch to Node.js/Node, and let's talk about issue 48890, add built-in .env file support. And I don't know, Yagith, you want to say something?
Yeah, so in 2 weeks ago in the last TSC meeting, we talked about adding support for node options. Right now, we support node options. I found out a case, I implemented it. If somebody can review the pull request, I would appreciate it. If there's one approval right now, and it was a little bit old because I pushed new stuff. On top of that, I created a new issue on Node.js Node regarding like with the title M file support issue tracker, because there are some questions that needs to be answered in order to like those decisions. I didn't want to take it alone, and I wanted to talk over this. The issue is the issue label. The issue link is also in the TSC meeting GitHub issue. So yeah, if you can share your thoughts on it, I would appreciate it.
So if I remember last time, the main discussion was around if we could support node options or not. So it sounds like you've managed to make it support node options, right? Okay. And
yeah, right now, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right now it supports node options. It supports UV thread loop, like whatever environment variable you think of, it works right now.
Okay, so that was my follow on it. So it supports all environment variables. Okay.
Yes, the only hiccup is that, yeah, Rafael.
It now supports node options. So how do you manage to read the file with the permission model?
Permission model is omitted because permission model requires V8. So we read the file before V8 is initialized. So that's one of the limitations.
So we need to document it.
Yes. On top of that, if you put experimental permissions in the node options in a .m file, right now it works. And I already have a test case for it. So it's kind of good that it evolved into this, because the original .m package doesn't support any of these, and right now we do. So yeah.
Okay, and the request that support node options is the one that we are mentioning. We haven't split it in different ones, right?
There is right now one. There's one open .m pull request. I closed the other one because I was waiting for the node options to resolve, and I resolved it and I merged it into a single one. So yeah, I can share the link.
So, but it sounds like some command line options won't work because it's too early. Is that like permissions being one example of them, or is it?
So no, the thing is, if you have a node experimental permissions, and if you say lofs like write, but you don't give read permissions, then having an m file argument in the node CLI works correctly, because permission level, the permission checks require V8 to initialize itself, and we are doing all of that before V8 is initialized, because node options needs to be configured properly.
Okay, so basically everything will work as expected. It's just that like anything that tries to prevent you from reading a file wouldn't prevent you from reading .m. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a big concern, Rafael, or?
Well,
no,
the way that I was thinking is that it's going to work in the same way we do for experimental policy that also reads a file. But considering all the requirements we need, for instance, to read node options before the V8 initialization, I don't think we can avoid that. I don't think that's the best way, but I don't have a better option to suggest.
I'm just trying to think what the main problem, like, is it actually a security issue?
It is not a security issue, I guess, because it's just like it can fall in some design or DX issue. Once we say that, okay, using the permission model, you won't be able to access or read some files. But if you pass this flag, this will read without your without explicitly allowing it. That sounds weird at some point, but
we may have a list of those that would be worth documenting. I think that's maybe what I'm up to speed. You're basically saying we need to document this behavior. It's probably I can think of a few others that I won't go over, but like we probably need to come up with that list.
Yeah, we need to document it and also add a test for it.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I think we need to sort of revisit how permission model is like intertwined with all the V8 logic, because for this case, we can omit it if we know if we didn't make the permission level more connected to V8 itself. So if we spend some time on it, then we can neglect this part as well and make permission logic work on top, like before V8 is initialized.
And I assume somewhere in the doc, it documents that the M file is read on startup, just because I know in our threat model, we specifically document that, like, if we read files that aren't documented, that's an issue, right? But as long as we document that they get loaded, then it's expected.
And we can remove this pull request, the TSC agenda label from this pull request.
Sure, let me do that.
Like if there's no objections regarding merging this.
Well, there is there is the concept of these needs. You need to complete the comments. Okay, there is a question from Colin, some points from Colin that he raised, and you are at the top of your issue of the PR. So you said that there is programmatic API, the option argument versus override existent process data. I don't know. There is a few things at the top that is instilling to do for some reason.
Yeah, it's not in to do, but so I created another issue just to track the progress of the data PR because it's getting bigger and bigger.
What I am listing here is please reach out to Colin and ask.
Yeah, I reached out to him.
And clear with him if it's okay with the state, and the rest of the comment can go in further work, essentially.
Just Matteo, there's a few people to promote.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Okay, sorry.
I was already, I saw the Raphael thing. Great, okay. Cool. Perfect, okay. So, yes, just get, if more people can approve that, that would be great. But yeah, overall, it's okay. So, perfect. Then next issue is issue A48740, which it's the issue about the let me just do one thing. Okay, it's the issue about import meta dir name, import meta file name. And there is some, Geoffrey has posted an update inside the Node.js, inside the issue for this, even though he couldn't join. It's too early for him. So, and he's saying that he opened a proposal in the WinterCG repo, and no one from Ban or Dino has commented a few days on the proposal. So basically, it's progressing, okay, but it's a little bit stalled on that side. There is one question, okay, that Geoffrey raised, and we were during our call that we did not get an agreement on. It's James Snell mentioned that we should be treating addition to import meta kind of as Semver majors or not. Okay, this is a question of what should we want to do here. And so this is a question for us, what we want to do, essentially. Benjamin?
Yeah, sorry, I just want to raise, I totally see the breakage potential of adding like stuff to the global scope, and I get import.meta is technically available in the module scope, but I don't understand what the breakage potential here, like to justify a Semver major. Like
Okay,
I understand wanting to be cautious, but this it won't break any code. I can't imagine code that would break
yeah,
because
I am. Can you? I'm asking in a comment. Can you clarify why why we should be treating this as Semver major? Okay, I'm asking him a comment. So this is, I don't think there is much else. Okay.
Be good to define how we handle those. Like, it might be an area like globals, like even if we said we don't think it's breaking, it might still be good to have it initially tagged so that like it has broader eyes to say, yes, we want to add something into that particular area. That I could see making sense, even if it's not strictly breaking or whatever, but sounds good to clarify, like if it's if we can get a better understanding of the breaking first anyway.
So for example, if we add like an environment variable or a flag or something like that, that's not necessarily like a Semver major. And I think it's import.meta has like less breaking potential than that. So like I agree we should clarify, and I think it would make sense, like if there is another reason not related to breakage or like the API change to justify Semver major, that's fine. But if our reasoning for like Semver majoring this sort of change is breakage, I don't understand technically how this could break code.
I think I'm more like what I was trying to, I don't think I kind of explained it, but like I can see if we consider that like a standard namespace that should be standardized across runtimes, then we should be careful into what we add into it, right? And maybe it requires the similar treatment to what a Semver major is, even if it's not breaking. So I guess I'm like, from my perspective, I can see why we might want to be careful, but we need to sort of document and agree on whether we think that makes sense or not.
Yeah, I agree. I'm wondering if the tool we should use for that isn't just like requiring a TC review for adding stuff to import.meta.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this is something that I think it's important that we talk about to the point of this issue, but also to the point of everything else, essentially. So I think that is the generic answer here. Like it's, I don't think it's a Semver major to add something to import meta if it's standardized, if it's already part of a standard, for example. So, you know, again, but this is my choice. Like if we are adding a standard-based API, I don't think it's a Semver major. It's just an addition for something that is not going to there's no breakage there, I think. But this is also because test does not technically test runners do not check that. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah, like maybe a similar something similar to Semver major, like standard namespace addition. Or anyway, it sounds like getting the clarification from James first makes sense, and then we could move on to like if we're not convinced it's breaking, then how should we handle it?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Well, anyway, I posted something on the issue. Let's see what Geoffrey and James are telling us. Okay. I don't think there is much else to cover on this one. Okay, minus keeping it on our radar for the time being, I think. Do you think there is anything else to cover on this one? Anybody? No? Awesome. Okay. So wait a second. I've lost the minute. Oh, okay, here it is. So amazing. Then we have issue. We're moving to the Node.js repo in Node.js TSC and issue 1422, collaborator meeting before NodeConf. and it seems the generic consensus here is to hold a meeting during the conference in one of the meeting rooms, essentially. If that's the case, I still need a couple of weeks more to finalize that, but I would say yes, this is the plan. So I cannot confirm it right now, but can say I'm going off for 2 weeks, and when I come back, I should be able to confirm it.
I think the key thing for people is we're not going to plan a separate day. So if we can get some
exactly.
time during the
I don't
conference,
like, again, that is I think that ship has sailed. So otherwise, if we have a room, we will have a room, or if we don't have a room, we will do a takeover of a hallway, and that will be our room. So
I think people were just like for setting up travel arrangements.
I
wanted
think
to
so.
close on, and you know, it seems like in the issue there's consensus. So unless anybody has other ideas, I think we should just confirm. We discussed in the TSC meeting. There will be no other day. If possible, we'll have something during the conference.
Yes, I
That's
would say
okay with everybody.
I don't think there is any alternative, to be honest, considering the unless somebody has a venue in their pocket in Dublin that they can host us in without huge efforts.
I'm happy to ask. I know there is a bunch of teams in Microsoft that in Dublin that work on Node, and would be like, I'm not sure they would be happy to like host anyone, but I'm happy to find out, because they asked when we're coming, well, like when I'm coming to visit and stuff, because they have a lot of Node questions. So like they may be able to host us if we.
Yes, the problem is like it's too late. Like we should already have a venue today. Okay, so this is the fundamental.
Yeah,
next year.
That's what I think too. It's like to get it. People, you know, need to be booking their travel or already have booked their travel. So I think trying to tack on a day, a week, because by the time we'd figure that out, probably be another 2 weeks. And we might like to. I think it's
last year it took us 3 months to finalize the venue. Like we announced the date before we had a venue.
Yeah.
So hoping that we will make it happen, and we did, but it was not easy. So yeah, I would say it's too late, essentially.
That was really the crux, is like, unless we really, really think we should try and stretch and make it happen, I think we should give people the certainty of, yeah, there's no extra dates. You can plan your travel. And, you know, next year, I think we, you know, like Matteo was saying, we should plan earlier in terms of like the Node conference, the Node collaborator summits, and NodeConf is a good place in my mind to have one of them anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd say like chime into the issue, but like, I think we should say, unless somebody is like, hey, no, we absolutely have to try and do this, it's a real stretch if we don't just say, hey, we're just gonna do it in the conference if we can.
I would say we are enough here, 13 of us. So
if
nobody objects, I would just say that it's unless somebody really has a venue immediately available or something, which is not asking of somebody essentially. So I don't think it's possible. So from my point of view, this is the I don't know, but this is my 2 cents. Unless somebody really, if Benjamin, if you think that you can have a good venue, like you're sure they can host us, then yeah, because most of the problem is it will be hosting us on Saturday and Sunday, which is usually a huge load of problem for companies. Okay. So again, I have no good answer here. So yeah, I would say that, and then we need to plan it better next year. Essentially, if we want that to make it happen, we need to voice our this and make it happen. Okay.
So
Okay.
I just noted in the minutes, like consensus seems to be to hold meetings if possible during the conference as opposed to scheduling another day. It's just too late to do anything else. Is that okay with
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah. Okay. Then issue 1416, freeze releases and website changing pending cache fixes. Did we improve this? What the status of this? Can we remove it from the agenda, or is it good?
I think we left that on the agenda because like the website is teetering. So like the issue hasn't been resolved. I think in terms of a TSC question, we answered the TSC question. So the question is, do we need to keep thinking about this? We've asked the foundation for help, but we haven't gotten an answer on that yet. So like we have a website and downloads which are flaky. I think, it's not in a good situation. And there's no clear path that's going to fix that. But whether this issue needs to stay on or not, that's like, so this particular question was answered, but like the website is still at risk. We don't have a path to resolution. Do we need something that keeps that on our radar? I don't know.
Is there a list of basically what it's missing, if I understand correctly, is a person to lead the re-architecture of how our downloads would work, if I understand right.
Yeah, basically somebody who has the time and cycles to think about it, design it, and then implement it. I mean, I think we have some ideas, right? But they're all going to take a fair amount of work.
Yeah, well, I'm also on the point of whoever does the work, mostly, as usual,
I previously volunteered to get more involved with that. It just happened to be that I wasn't available for all the recent build working group meetings. So
okay.
I'm happy to get more involved.
Okay, so maybe what makes sense is to take this issue off the agenda, and maybe if you want to open a new one, or maybe we should have like well, I don't know. Up to you whether you think we need the TSC. Maybe we just take it off the TSC agenda and you can put it back on if there are questions for the TSC at some point.
Like what it seems here is these needs a champion, and these needs it's almost close to a strategic initiative re-architecting this. Okay, to be honest, I'm it's very close. Like it's so critical that this is, to be honest, is very close to a major a major feature of the project as much as anything else. Okay, so I don't know. And
I think our ask to the foundation was, it's like my personal feeling, like if we think we need a 24/7 SLA, we need resources whose job it is to keep that up, right? Like, so there's sort of the, hey, we could re-architect it, we could rebuild it, but it's still, when things go wrong, who's going to be able to drop everything else and fix it?
Yeah. Well, it's also designing something that is very resilient. So, which is the current problem. Like one is addressing downtimes. The other one is building something that, like, again, if we decide to store data, like if we decide to store our releases instead of on a machine in the file system, but to store them inside our Cloudflare account, for example, using their R2 option, I think it's R2, I don't know, using their file storage service as an option, that's done. Okay, it's a, we just need to update our deployment process, our release process to do that work and port all our previous releases there, and then we are done. Okay, so I'm just listing it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I don't think there is much else to cover on this, but I'm going to keep on the agenda for today so that we can reassess, because I think this needs a champion. So it's more of, we need a champion. Like, this is my 2 cents at least. Okay, this is, need somebody then take ownership of this problem and works towards the fix.
I think it sounded like Mosh was volunteering to do that, but maybe leaving it on, and then if you could give us an update, Mosh.
If
next
Moshe
week,
confirms
that
that
would
want to
help.
volunteer, I'm happy to drop it from the agenda.
I'll volunteer, but maybe I'll try at least for the initializing this to be on the next build working group, so we could outline how we're gonna do this.
Amazing. I'm removing that from the agenda then.
Okay.
There's also some discussions with the foundation in terms of, you know, them helping out. So we should get you, make sure. Have you been invited to any of those?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can add you to the current invite.
Perfect. Okay. Then one of the last issue is remaining open source funding, which is issue 1384. Did we get any progress on this? I
think Raphael was saying he had a hard time rejoining, but I think, you know, we put the call out and there was no objection, so I think he said it could be taken off the agenda.
Yes, I just want to make sure that how do we make it more forward?
I think Raphael was likely then going to, you know, he'd written some stuff up, but we'll need to take that to the foundation, I guess, or figure out how we, you know, ask people who are interested. But probably him going to the foundation saying, okay, we want to do this work. How would we set up a contract as a first step? Right, because they should be involved in, like, what are they going to need? Do we just go off and choose somebody ourselves, or do they need to be in the process? That kind of thing.
Where did we left on the fact that we're going to use the LFX platform?
No, the foundation confirmed that they could basically sign up.
Okay, perfect.
Even as a
Then,
contractor and
yeah.
pay them. So
I think we need. So I'm going to write a thing. It's we need to have some sort of you know, RFC an RFC approach, or, you know, call for contractors approach here. Like, I don't think we can have anything else, and then decide who decides this. That's my
I agree. So yeah, it's good if you can chime in with that.
yeah. I'm writing something. We should put out a call for contractors on this work. Possibly anonymous or via the OpenJS Foundation. We should agree how we decide this. My proposal is that we create a subgroup to make this decision, and this subgroup automatically decides that they cannot participate. Just to be, like, the point is, a few people on the TSC might want to apply. That's my 2 cents, and have voice to apply. So I think a few TSC members have decided to have voiced their will to apply for this work, maybe subgroup. And delegate with the intent of not participate in the call. Okay. Okay. How do we move it forward? Should I ping Robin and ask Robin to do it? But she will probably ask me for some text. So I will coordinate with Rafael, maybe, and Robin.
Yeah, I think coordinating with Raphael, he's written some stuff. If you could work with him to get the written text, sounds great.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay. Great. There is one more issue, enable GitHub Codespaces for Node.js, issue Z808 in the admin repo. And I think this is stalled.
It's not stalled. I think the nobody has objected, but Claudio asked that I add it to the TSC agenda and make sure we discussed it just for like as an FYI, as kind of the last. If nobody objects here, then just, yeah, let's do it, is basically.
Yeah, I would say so. SGTM approved unless anybody objects. Nope. Okay. Perfect. Then we have a few topics for the strategic initiatives, but I think it's probably better to talk about the private stuff that there is a few. I'm just going to read through the updates if it's not a problem for people. So on the startup snapshot front, we added another reproducibility fix, and it still needs another fix, but it's moving forward. It's also being refactored, the snapshot writing routine for compression, and more V8 updates. And nothing new on performance. And next 10 update this week. Actually, on performance, I think one PR landed, Yagis, that you might be interested on, which is the PR on the what would
web streams. Yes, yeah. I forgot that. Yes, web streams.
There was a significant improvement on the creation of web streams, like, I don't know, 2x, 3x, something like that.
Yeah, it was around that.
3x, yeah, something like something impossible like that. Okay, so yeah, and good. No not good update on next 10, and no updates on SEA. So cool. This is up. I would say thank you for watching. Please, all the TSC members, stay on for the private section. So I will happy to have you here and say goodbye. Bye, folks. And I am